Hey everybody, JC here. Sunday evening, August 28th. It's about 8 p.m. Do you know where your tropical cyclones are? This is a special tropical update video. I made a video last Wednesday and Friday, and I told you I'd make another one this evening. So, once again, no threats to New Jersey. This is strictly for Florida areas, Gulf Coast areas, and now the Outer Banks are all looking at potential tropical impacts. So let's get right to it. Right here is the Invest 99 that we've been following for 10 or 12 days now. It has graduated to a tropical depression. However, this tropical depression formed first, so that's Tropical Depression 8. Invest 99L has become Tropical Depression 9. And it does have a closed circulation. It is right here in this area where we thought it would be. Tracked maybe a little closer to Cuba than splitting the difference exactly between the Florida Keys and Cuba. But nonetheless, it has sustained just enough intensity to make it all the way through here. And now it's entering the Gulf of Mexico. Now the Gulf of Mexico has a lot of warm water, very humid air, and it's nothing but fuel. So my suspicion, just purely common sense, is that we're going to see some intensification here into at least a tropical storm, possibly a hurricane, before making landfall somewhere on the Gulf Coast. Now, as of right now, it looks like anything as far west as Galveston would be a little less likely than something between New Orleans and the Florida Panhandle, maybe as far east as Tampa. So it is narrowing a little bit there. That ridge we have in the eastern U.S. is going to break down and move away, and we're actually going to have a cold air mass come into the mid-Atlantic and northeast about Thursday maybe, and that's going to help lift these systems out and away before making it up to us. So these are the three systems right here. This is Gaston. It's the strongest. It's approaching Category 3. It might be Category 3 now, actually, but it is well out to sea. It'll have no impact other than sending some swell this way. But the swell from Gaston for Bermuda could be a little rough, but otherwise Bermuda's okay. I think this Tropical Depression 8 will have more of a impact for the Mid-Atlantic coast than Gaston will. But either way, you're going to have some higher swell coming in with some dangerous rip currents along the coast. So listen to your lifeguards, listen to your authorities. Don't do anything stupid. Let's go to the eye wall. We'll have a look at Gaston first. Again, yeah, so 115 miles an hour as of the latest update at 5 p.m. So this is a Category 3, and it is turning away. So it's going to head over towards the eastern Atlantic islands. So you should probably pay attention if you're over that way. But for Bermuda and the U.S. East Coast, no big deal. This is Tropical Depression 8, again, the system that formed kind of last minute here. Now this could form a tropical storm and impact the Outer Banks in the Tuesday, Wednesday period of this coming week. And as it steams off here in front of that air mass I told you about, it could provide the extra surf impacts to New Jersey and most of the Mid-Atlantic coast. So just keep an eye on that, but no direct landfall threat. Now, Invest 99L, which I have to update here, is now Tropical Depression 9. Here's its exact location, just north of Cuba, south of the Florida Keys, actually a little bit west of and south of the Florida Keys. So, again, it's going to go out into the middle of the Gulf. And I think timing will have the most impact on everything. The more time it spends out in the Gulf, where the water is very warm and moist, the more time it has to strengthen. So if it's a real quick hook, it could just maybe go towards Tampa as a tropical storm maybe. If it sits out here a little bit longer, like the mean of all this guidance is suggesting, then it could really strengthen and maybe turn towards New Orleans. Now, a couple of these models are taking it towards the Texas coast. It's a little less likely at this point. I don't want to say for sure because, it could happen. But, the bottom line is we're still very uncertain as to who along this Gulf Coast is going to see the impacts from TD 9. Now, because we have two tropical depressions, 8 and 9, whoever forms into a named storm first will be Hermine. Whoever forms second will be Ian. So I'm not sure if this is going to be Hermine or Ian. And the same thing with TD 8 up here. So as far as the convection goes around TD9, it's been remarkable. The storm has continuously battled shear to the north and dry air to the south. The dry air to the south is mostly from the downsloping off the elevations of Cuba, and the pocket of shear that's been, just haunting this system has followed it and remained on its northern side. In the Gulf, there'll be less shear and less dry air, obviously. So, what I'm basically saying here is this storm has made it. It did not fizzle out over Cuba along the southerly track. It did not turn and go up Florida and fizzle out. It somehow split the uprates, and it's now going into the Gulf. So we have to watch this. Gulf Coast impacts could be as soon as Tuesday night, Wednesday, as late as Friday, Saturday. So that's what we'll be monitoring here. I'll put out another video maybe Tuesday night. We should be looking at it in the middle of the Gulf by then and have a clear picture of where it's going to start heading. So we're in that last little bit of uncertainty now. Florida, you could still see some heavy rains from this over the next couple of days, but nothing really tropical storm related, more just normal convection surrounding the tropical area before it gets going. Now let me just point out some features on guidance. This is the latest Euro. Now at the beginning of this slide, you can see the ridge here, and that's what's breaking down. As it breaks down and moves away, you see this air mass. These are below average heights at the 500 millibar level, and you have this high here, which is going to be throwing some pretty cold air out of the northwest. And if we go down to 800 millibar temperatures, we can see that a little bit better. Go back here. So here comes that air mass. It's Thursday, and by Friday, it's through. So any storm systems, whether it be here or here, from 8 or from 9, are going to want to just launch to the northeast this way. TD9, could go in the Gulf and make its landfall, and then it's out to the northeast. TD8 will be long gone by the time that happens. So again, I think New Jersey's protected from all of this, but Gulf Coast has to watch out, and so does the Outer Banks. The Outer Banks in the Tuesday, Wednesday period of this coming week, and the northern Gulf Coast in let's call it Wednesday night through Saturday morning. So that's where we stand right now. I will make another video in 2 nights. Everybody have a great night and be safe.